Hello, hello, hello. This is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, some introductions here. All right, so if you want to reach out to me, feedback is greatly important. You can reach me either through email, Substack, X, and of course, fill up those comments on YouTube. And I greatly appreciate all of the listeners that I'm cultivating, gathering. On YouTube, it means a lot. Thank you so much. And it means a lot, all of you that listen to me on all of these platforms. Thank you so much. And I'm going to list some of the podcast platforms that I'm on, and I'm looking to grow to where I am on, hopefully, all of the podcast platforms here. All right, so just to name a few. Spreaker, of course. Thank you so much for everything for Spreaker, what you've done as far as helping me grow. Thank you so much. And Spotify. Thank you so much. Spotify. I started on Spotify. Thank you. And then I originally started with Anchor, and I appreciate Anchor too, but thank you. All right. So, Amazon Music and Pandora, iHeartRadio, and started on there too, all those two. And that's just to name a few. I'm on Deezer. That's new. To give you an idea of the platforms that I'm on. All right, so this topic is centering around the newly found evidence of the Native Americans that visited America. And I'm going to go into the facts, and then I'm going to go into the reasons why it was so suppressed and all of these things. And of course, I'm going to give my thoughts and feedback about it. All right, here we are. And let's get into the thoughts and facts. Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving. So what is typically pictured about is typically pictured a Native American tribe, people, pilgrims, Puritans, so to speak, coming together, sharing their bounty. For the good part of it, this story embraces differences and coming together and appreciating and being humble and giving thanks for what you have, your harvest, your bountiful harvest. And then also for the aspect of setting aside differences and learning new things. Okay, and the bad side of it gets down deep into the aspect of ethical and racial tension. Now, what am I saying about this? So, which has been debunked too. Say, when these poor Native American people, when these Puritan pilgrims came here, they wanted to take what is theirs and just trick them and fool them and introduce them to new diseases and, do these diabolical things by throwing smallpox, let me rephrase that, smallpox blanket on them to introduce them to diseases, to wipe them out, and to, over to underplay them, undersell them, and take their land, and then the Native Americans not knowing anything, being, they don't understand the ins and outs about business, and they underplayed themselves or sold themselves short as far as land and property value. What? When you scratch your head and you say, if you want to, here, that's the question. You say, how in the world is this feasible to believe? Now, it also ranges to the perspective, I think, about how, tolerant or libertarian or democratic, the other side says, or how the mainstream, more along the lines of the mainstream ideologies being pushed out there, say we have to tell these stories of history because it helps to, grandeur the light of truth, which is, are you sure about that? So when you look at this, it sounds silly. And then when you say it out loud, it sounds even sillier. So you say that these people are so, again, as I said on Monday, you say that they're so intellectual, they're so resourceful, but at the same time, they don't know how to hash out, business aspects about property. They don't know how to, they're just pretty much downtrodden to the level of being a child, an infant. So that's not a good look. When it's much better to just simply say things for what it is, because you get to find out the truth about things and understand better how history was, how things work, how the world works. And this helps to move towards a better understanding of the future, of how to move in the future, how to think about things towards the future. And so finding out this new evidence about the native people that originated in America are of Caucasus descent, that will completely change the idea about the aspect of what it means to be a Native American, a Native person. And I think this can be a thing that can help heal tension. Well, that's a huge feat within itself. But needless to say, this could be a thing to, if you really want to get into heart of the matter of everything, have real conversations about these things, it will bring the light of truth that it's okay. It's not this demonizing thing that we Native people were of white descent of America. It can even more so prove the point of how great that is, American culture and the American soul, that as far as ethnicity, it can be an aspect of that's not the whole merit to who you are. And then also more along the lines of social class, you can rise above. And I think that's what is really at the heart of a matter of a lot of, problems that plague society, which people don't want to talk honestly about. So, it's one thing to say this about, oh, woe is me because of, and then pushing the thing about, oh, I'm so oppressed, and even though your community, for instance, the black community has gone over leaps and bounds as far as progress, but it's funny how, now in the unfortunately, the mainstream perspective wants to push that all African Americans or Black Americans can contribute to society is degradation. That's really unfortunate. When it wipes away of all the progress and all the other progress that is going on now, that it's not being presented into the public for the most part. Well, the aspect of which is very unique, so unique and so wonderful and so beautiful about American culture. It simply does not matter where you come from. You can be just impoverished. You can be wealthy. When middle class is unfortunate, it's not a true middle class anymore, but it was when I was growing up, Even so with this, if you have the initiative and you have the will, you can rise above. And that's prevalent, and that's the true American roots. And so that aspect is being taken away now, and luckily it's not, losing its ground. But the fact that it being tampered, that with this aspect of DEI, this aspect of equality for all. If you do that, if you have these strange progressive mentalities, it's taking away the merits of the roots of America. Why so many people want to come, and so many people have come in the past, is because of this idea of this noble ideology, I would say. Instead of, ideologies aren't always a bad thing. This noble idea that you can simply make it on your own merit. It does not matter your social class. It doesn't matter any of things like that. You can make it on your own merit if you're willing to do it. And I think that needs to be prevalent and pushed out in the mainstream. But I have hopes about that will turn around and do a 360 or a complete 180 or so, and just get back to where it needs to be, because that's what the true value that people should be looking at. And so, getting back to my thoughts about the Native Americans being of Caucasian descent, I think that's really, knowing that and understanding that and seeing the reason why it's being suppressed, it goes to the light of the aspect of you wonder why. It's not. You don't wonder why. It's easy to see how all slowly the fabric of society can be pulled away because people don't want to be honest with what actually happened or what actually happens in society. And so this is very prevalent to this aspect of how stereotypes, if you take them seriously, can really run amok on the aspect of how we move socially and culturally. And so I think a really good example, a case in point of this, is the character of King of the Hill. I don't know why it's phasing my head. John Redcorn. Okay. All right. When you look at him, he's essentially this whole idea of what's being pushed today. Now, before I get too heavy into his character analysis, I'm going to talk about this. So, those who are in the know, who know about it, those who like history, who enjoy history like myself. So, when back in the 70s when Marlon Brando was doing this existential bullcrap stuff, talking about, I don't want to accept my Oscar in behalf, I think that, out of protest of pretty much doing that, out of protest of bigotry or what have you. And so this woman presented herself as she was of a native descent, as she was a Native American. Turns out, after her death, and then before then, it was being more speculation that she actually was not Native American. She was, again, fronting, doing a part of what is thought of as how a Native American is supposed to look. She was actually Italian, I believe. So, wow. But the character, Don Redcorn, he's always saying these things. When you look at his character, he says, oh, I'm oppressed, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, look at the white man is taken away from me again. Look at this, look at that. But in actuality, he's just a person that can't be accountable for anything. So, with his son, case in point, Joseph, he could have done a noble thing and just said, okay. And then of course, Nancy too, because she, stepped out of her marriage and had an affair with this man. Both of them, and specifically him, doing a noble thing. This is my son, and just be honest about it and talk to Dell about it. But that's a whole fan theory that he probably wouldn't take that well, but who knows about that. But, and then you see how he's pushing this whole ideology onto Joseph about, native, you got to know your roots and everything. And why would Joseph listen to him when he doesn't even understand that that's his father? He just thinks he's just some wacko guy talking about something. So how can he take serious about his roots? That's strange. And then, all of these examples. So it ranged to the aspects of this. When you tie yourself to radical ideologies, you tend to, for lack of a better word, from my opinion, sell yourself short. All right, here we go. Let's get into the facts about everything with as far as the caucus origin of Native people of America, the Native people in America that originated in America. Here we go. All right, before I start into the facts of the matter about what I'm saying, as far as the caucus Native American roots, I just want to say, my goodness, what a pivotal time in history now. Mr. Trump, President Trump, he won it, y'all. He got it. Even though they'll try to say, oh, well, maybe this, fudging here, it's not a real election, We made it, y'all. We're on to progress. Many blessings to Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. Many blessings to them. And then sweeping it in the Senate, in the House. Woo, yeah. I'm telling you. It's really monumental. Many blessings. Many blessings. All right, here we go. Here, I'm popping it right up for y'all. Okay, so, and of course, this will be provided for you in this episode, the source. So it says, scientists discovered DNA proving original Native Americans were white. This is a new popular population of Native Americans, the white Native Americans. A new discovery of ancient DNA may overturn the idea that the Native Americans were first to have populated the American continent. Instead, according to rawstreetjournal.com, a new group known as Ancient... Hold on. My daughter, hold on. Let's get up this hill, baby. The grass is wet, honey. So that's why it's kind of hard to ride right now, baby. Okay, come on. You're welcome, sweetie. All right, so it says, as the ancient Burgeness, believe the pronunciation of that. So, white Europeans closely related to modern... Okay, which is closely related to modern white Europeans, have been discovered by researchers. Genetic analysis of a baby girl who died at the end of the last ice age shows she belongs to this previously known ancient group of Burgeness. A baby girl who lived and died in what is now Alaska at the end of the last ice age belonged to a previously unknown group of ancient people who branched off from the ancestors of modern Europeans, according to DNA recovered from her bones. All right, I'm going to take a brief break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's continue. So the child, a mere 6 weeks old when she died, was found in a burial pit next to the remains of a stillborn baby. Perhaps their first cousins during excavations of an 11,500-year-old residential camp in Tanana River Valley in central Alaska. The remains were discovered in 2013, but a full genetic analysis has not been possible until now. Researchers tried to recover ancient DNA from both of the infants, but succeeded only in the case of the larger individual. They had expected her genetic material to be the resemblance of modern northern or southern lineages of Native Americans, but found instead that she had a distinct genetic makeup that made her a member of a separate population. A new genome from the Pleistocene burial in Alaska confirms a long-standing belief that European ancestors first arrived in America. The newly discovered group named Ancient Burgeness appeared to have split off from the Europeans around 20,000 years ago and made their way to North America via Alaska. When a frozen land bridge made the crossing from Europe and Asia into North America, this was possible. The ancient Burgeness then pushed south as the ice caps melted and mixed with other Native American populations, which is why many Native Americans today, hold on, sweetheart, also exhibit physical characteristics more commonly associated with whites. According to Eske Willerslev in evolutionary genetics at the University of Copenhagen, whose team recovered the girl's DNA from a dense part of her skull known as the... What, baby?
I'm hungry.
Hold on, okay. Petrus bone. This is a new population of Native Americans, the white Native Americans. The findings, which were published in scientific journal Nature, are controversial and represent a growing body of evidence being discovered across the world that suggests that the origins of the human race may have been Europe, not African as once believed. Working with scientists at the University of Alaska and elsewhere, Willerslev compared the genetic makeup of the baby named, I'm not going to even attempt it, or the nickname Sunrise Child girl by the local community with genomes from other ancient and modern people. They found that nearly half of the girl's DNA came from the ancient North Europeans who lived in which is now Scandinavia. The rest of her genetic makeup was roughly even mix of DNA now carried by the northern and southern Native Americans. Using evolutionary models, the researchers showed that the ancestors of the first Native Americans started to emerge as a distinct population about 35,000 years ago. About 25,000 years ago, this group mixed and breeded with ancient North Asians in the region, the descendants of whom went on to become the first white Europeans to settle in the New World. During the last ice age, so much water was locked up in the ice caps that a land bridge reached from Europe and Asia to North America, which crossed what is now the Bering Straits. Whistlecliff believes that ancestors of these early white Europeans traveled to the continent in a single wave of migration more than 20,000 years ago. Those who settled in the north became the ancient Burgundians. He said, while those who moved south around or through the ice sheets split into the North and South Native Americans about 15,700 years ago. But there's another possibility. Ben Porter, an archaeologist on the team from the University of Alaska in Fairbanks, suspect that the Burgundians split from the ancestors of other Native Americans in Europe before groups made their way across the land bridge to North American separate migration. He says the support for this scenario is pretty strong. We have no evidence of people in the Burgundia region 20,000 years ago. Potter suggests that alternatively, these early European settlers may have mixed with Asians before crossing over to North America and were responsible for creating the original Native American people. The families who lived at the ancient camp may have spent months there, Porter said. Excavations at the site, known as Upward Sun River, have revealed at least 3 tent structures that would have provided shelter. The 2 babies were found in a burial pit beneath the earth where families cooked salmon caught in the local river. The remains of a 3rd child who died at the age of 3 were found on top of the earth at the abandoned camp. Connie Mulligan, an archaeologist at the University of Florida, said the findings pointed to a single migration of people from Europe to the New World via Asia, but said other questions remain. How did people move quickly to the southernmost point of South America and settle 2 continents that span a huge climatic and geographic range? But it may also be testimony to the hardness of white European genes and their desire for better living conditions. With the land bridge from Asia to North America fast disappearing in each search of better food and water, the early Europeans would have feasted on salmon they caught in the wild, which would no doubt enhanced their cognitive facilities and ability to anticipate and access the rapidly changing situation. David Rake, a genetics at Harvard University, said the work boosted the case for a single migration into Alaska and then onward to North and South America. But he did not rule out alternatives involving multiple ways of migration. He added that he was unconvinced that the ancient Burgundian group split from the ancestors of other Native Americans 20,000 years ago, because even tiny errors in scientific data can lead to radically different split times for evolutionary lineages. While 19,000 to 20,000 year date would have important implications if true, and may very well. This is what this genius genist is saying from Harvard. He's quoted as saying, I'll rephrase this again, 19,000 to 20,000 year date would have important implications if true and may very well be right. I'm not convinced that there is a compelling evidence that the initial split date is that old. It's entirely possible that they were ancient Europeans through and through. All right, so I'm going to end with this. So, and then it's also alleged that this was suppressed for years, and that's unfortunate. And finding all this evidence, this is just proven fact. And again, I can't stress this enough about how the American soil, how American roots was the opportunity from all kinds of backgrounds to come together, and then pushing the narrative that Native Americans only look a certain way, or you only are a certain way, or fit a certain way to be part of a particular ethnic minority or a particular group sector. It's proven a point. That's not always the case. Dig deeper, look deeper into things. And then when you do that, you can discover so many things about the society in which we live in. And that can help grow and develop your perspective and your thought process about things. And I think this is truly remarkable that these types of findings are coming out. And it's unfortunate, when I originally was researching this. So I found out about this. My husband sent this article to me, and it was a YouTuber that had discovered this. I believe Legion of Man. I believe that's who he is, and he was talking about it. And then I just sparked my curiosity about it. So when I was originally finding research about it, it said, oh no, servicing information. There's no real proof that that's true. And then I had to actually find the name, the source, and everything until I could, and plugging that in, that got me to the information that I'm reading to you now. And that's unfortunate. So, again, when you get in the business of wanting to push a certain narrative, what are you actually saying about the aspect of the truth that telling a particular story is more important, crafting particular stories is more important than the truth? That's funny. That's funny to me. That's funny business to me, and not in a good sense of funny. And that's really unfortunate. But being said, it's just wonderful, and it proves the testament that if you want to find it, you can find it. And I'm proud that I'm in a country where I can freely find out the truth without any, which was the issue and what was plaguing this country, having persecution, getting to that aspect, trying to take away that aspect, which is not the American way, being persecuted for wanting to trying to find the truth and speak the truth. And, that's insanity. So, with that being said, this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. And I'd like to know your thoughts about this particular topic. What are your thoughts about the aspect of finding these evidence and the aspect of Native American culture too? So, either reach me through email, Substack, X, and of course, fill up those comments in YouTube. It'd be greatly appreciated. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care out there. Bye-bye now.